Hi there, I'm Dark Shades. And you know what I'm wondering today, and I'm wondering if you're wondering the same thing, is that should you go back to an ex? Now, I guess it all depends why you broke up in the first place, how long you've been apart, um, what are your expectations if you reconcile, what are his expectations if you reconcile. Um, what would change if you went back? Um, what are your reasons for going back? All of these play a part. And how long have you been apart? Um, you find a lot of people I've noticed these days, their exes are coming back into their lives. And it's quite interesting because depending on the reason why you broke up, I mean, sometimes people have broken up for massive reasons. The person has been abusive to them. The person is an addict. The person is a compulsive liar, pathological liar, or the person has a host of other reasons, really valid reasons why it couldn't work. But what about those relationships where you just lost your temper? The two of you were quite immature at the time. The two of you allowed pride to get in the way, and you hadn't really thought it through, and you've gone on your separate ways, and you've decided by whatever means you've just happened to bump into each other. The spark has ignited, and you kind of think, whoa, I still fancy you. Is that a reason to go back? Now, they reckon that once an ex is an ex for a reason, and you should never go back to an ex. But what are the exceptions? What is the difference between going back to an ex or breaking up from a relationship, having some time away and sorting things out and going back, depending on what you've been doing while you've been separated? I mean, if you've been healing yourself, if you've been working on yourself, maybe if one has been going to church or the other person has gone abroad or whatever the reason, is dating an ex an absolute no-no? What are your thoughts about that? I mean, I think, if like I said, it all depends how long you've been apart. It all depends the reasons why you broke up. It also depends on the reasons why you'd want to get back together. Why would you want to get back together with an ex? What do you think is going to be different? Or is it that you feel as though you've matured and you're at a different place now? That sometimes happens. I mean, you do have people who are soulmates. They don't really recognise it at the time, and then life goes round in one big circle, and they end up back with each other because they were destined to be with each other. In that kind of case, I think that's absolutely fine if the reasons why you left weren't major, like I said, abuse, those kind of things, excessive behaviour, addiction, gambling and all those kind of things. You have lots of serious, money issues where people, a person has robbed you because they've got debt, or, you can have some major issues why people break up. And like I said, people who can't be faithful in a relationship. And if any of those reasons are the reasons, are they forgivable? Can you forgive them? Is it possible for somebody to change their spots and start over? I'm going to leave that over to you. For me, I would like to think that it is possible. You'd have to be, two of you would have to have a lot to talk over. It'd have to be open communication, complete honesty. Both of you would have to be authentic and, not try to hide, not try to impress each other, not try to not be taken in by the fact that you're physically attracted. That is a no-no, because sometimes if you're desperate in quotes, or if you haven't had sex for months or whatever, and anybody looks attractive, and then you'll find, oh bloody hell, you've had a bit and the person's gone right back to how they used to be. So be careful about your reasons when you're thinking about going back with an ex. Like I said, I'm not saying it shouldn't happen. Some people say no, no, no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying how have you both evolved? Have you both evolved? Have you both worked on yourself? Have you both ironed your differences? Have you both looked at the reasons why you broke up? Are those reasons valid reasons, or were they just an off-the-cuff moment and they didn't hold any water? What were the major differences between you? How well were you able to communicate? What makes you think you can communicate now, better now? What makes you think the differences that you had before are not going to represent themselves? And if they do, how are you going to handle that? No point going back and forth. You really need to know what you want, who you want it with, and whether or not it's a good idea going back with an ex. So I'll leave that thought with you. I hope these few little words have helped you make up your mind. Okay, bye.